Hey guys, it's Jared with Backwoods Animation, and today we're going to be doing a looping animation. So I have this character that I designed and rigged, and if you want to know how to make a character like this, go to my Patreon, become a member, and you can follow a series or a tutorial that I did where I go from the ground up on how I create a rig, how I design it, and how I get all the cool bells and whistles of things that make it easier to animate a character and give it more life. So starting off with this character, he's going to be a surfer. We're putting him into a surfing pose. Right now he doesn't have a surfboard, so he's kind of like just barefoot water skiing, but we're going to give him a surfboard. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to design out a surfboard. We'll just make it kind of simple. And we'll go like right here. We'll go here, and then we'll end it like right around there. We'll pull this back up. So this is the beginnings of a surfboard. Maybe I'll pull this down a bit. All right, that's good enough. And surfboards are many different colors, but we're going to go with white just to keep it easy. And I'm going to rename it surfboard, and I'm going to bring it to the bottom of my composition, just below, all of the body attributes. So now he is on a surfboard. I'm going to hit Y on the keyboard, and I'm going to take this anchor point, and I'm going to put it to the back. Maybe like right around here. And I'm also going to add a stroke to the surfboard to match the stroke on his body. I want to be consistent with my design. So maybe 5 will look a little better. There we go. I want this nose to have a little more point to it. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to position my character so that it looks like he's actually riding a surfboard. I'm gonna move his feet up quite a bit. I want him to have like this power stance. I want him to be looking like pretty cool, like he's shredding the gnar. It might be a little too high because of this foot. I tried do a Basel, and it works great. So if you set up a foot to roll like that, it works great. But I actually set up this foot in the other direction, so it was facing this way. And apparently, I don't know if there's a fix for it, but if you want to have the foot be rotated the opposite direction, I think you're out of luck. I kind of was able to make it look a little bit better, but the problem is you lose some of the capabilities of the foot roll. I still have things like the heel pivots and the toe pivots, but I lose the really kind of crucial one, which is I think the foot roll. The foot roll is pretty legit. So I'm just going to fake it for now, and I'll get the foot looking kind of how it should. So do a Basel, awesome, works great, but just make sure that your feet are positioned the way that you want them in the comp, and otherwise it's very hard to switch it, if that makes sense. All right, and I'm going to move this up. Another cool thing about Duik Bassel is you're not attaching an IK script to the actual limbs themselves. There's a bone system that runs through it. And maybe I'll do a tutorial on it later to show you how it works. But it's cool because you can adjust things like where the leg rotates or where it's positioned, and it doesn't affect the script of the IK at all. So you're not going to get any like weird, funky things happening. Let's see. And then these shorts are breaking here, and I'm just gonna pull it in and adjust it accordingly. And maybe I'll shorten these shorts a little bit. And I'll pull it this way. Same with this one. We're going to have it up against the skin and kind of like flopping back because the wind is hitting it. And then I can move the surfboard back up to where I want it. I think I might shrink the surfboard down a little bit too. I don't know that I want it so big. Although this would be very small for a normal person, I think in the cartoon world it fits in just fine. Let's see. Maybe I'll do this down here a little bit so that it rotates into the water instead of kind of hovering on top of it. All right, now that I have my surfboard set up, I'm going to connect the feet. I'm going to attach them to the surfboard. So let's find those feet controls up here. There we go. And I'm going to come down to surfboard. Boom. So now when I rotate my surfboard, the legs stick with it. Boom. Look at that. Go, bunga dude. Righteous. All right. Next, I'm going to move the hands into a cool kind of surf position. I'll move the head down too. So he's like getting tubular. We'll squash him down maybe. There we go. Kind of like he's getting barrel. Barrel City, dude. Let me see if I can find a better hand for this. So the arms, if you're wondering about the arms are they have an IK system attached to the arm. So all I have to do is move this. That's a cool thing about that as well, is that now all I have to do is move the shape layer and I have a new pivot point on the IK. But with Duik Bassel, you can't get that. So I used an older version of Duik to set up that system. So I've kind of functioned with the old system of Duik for so long, and I really liked it. And the idea of learning a new Duik system was kind of daunting to me. But after getting into it, it was kind of cool. It has a, it functions the same way, except you do have this cool foot roll option, which I think is really nice to get that. You can get some cool animation out of it. So let's make sure that the feet are, in the right place and they're looking cool. How do I want it? Do I want it like that and maybe push this forward? That looks pretty cool. All right, he's getting like super balanced in there like a, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going to adjust these so that they hit properly. And there's, when you create a rig, there's no like perfect rig. Everything's going to need to be adjusted some way or another. to set up that pose perfectly. So that's just what I'm doing here. So now that I've got my pose, he's looking good. You know, he's got Eye of the Tiger. He's getting ready to blast through this barrel. I'm gonna do, maybe I'll do, no, relax point. Not a fan of that one. Maybe just straight up fist. Sure, why not? We'll do fist. I don't have a hand, a back of the hand that matches this one quite so well, so kind of gotta pick your battles. All right, so now that that's looking good, I'm gonna animate the surfboard. And he's gonna be kind of ripping through this wave pretty quick. So I'm going to hit P for position, and I'll hit R as well. And I'll do 1 second loop to begin with. So on the keyboard, if you hit N, it crops your work area there. And if you go to where you want to start and hit B, it crops it there. So now your timeline is just this window. But I need 1 second, so I'm going to key the position and rotation. And I'll move forward, I don't know, maybe to 5. I'm just going to go down and then back up. And I actually think that's going to be too slow. Yeah, I want it to go quicker than that. So let's do, maybe we'll do 2 frames. So let's see how this looks. All right, we'll delete that. Oh, that's looking pretty good. There's going to be some intense wave action. Boom. Now I'm going to add some rotation to it. So we'll just assume that this is the up position. And then on the down position, the surfboard will come down. And I want to watch out for that leg. I want to make sure that his leg doesn't extend all the way, because then we're going to get some crazy popping action in the knee. And you never want your character to be popping. If you can avoid it at all costs, yeah, don't let your character pop their limbs. It is just very distracting. All right, and then I'll hit F9 on the keyboard again, and I'm going to pull these out 1 frame. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's popping quite a bit. That's okay. I'm going to pull each of these out 1. And we'll see how that looks. Okay, that's looking a little better. There might be a little too much action happening in this knee here for me. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do less of a down movement. And we'll see how that looks. It's looking better. It's got this nice kind of like roll to it. There's a lot of movement in the front of the board because that's where the least amount of weight is. All right, so I like how that's looking, and I'm just going to copy this out for 3 seconds so that we can post to Instagram, because Instagram likes to have at least 3 seconds. And did we hit our mark? Yes, we did. All right, so now that we have that, we can do something cool. We can take the position of the surfboard. Actually, I'll do it by hand. All right, so we'll go to the hips. Where are my hips? There we go. We'll hit P, key our position. We'll move forward 2, and then I'm going to drop it down. I'll have the hips move a little more than the surfboard. I'll come up. All right. And then we'll hit F9. 1, 2, 3 maybe, because we want it to be offset from the surfboard. The surfboard is causing the action, and the hips are a reaction to that. That doesn't look right. So we want the hips to be coming down with it, so we'll just delete that. Let's see here. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we'll do it like that. Okay, so if those hips are done, we'll just copy and paste this for 3 seconds. And just, there we go. And then now that we have a position for the hips, we can put something up here for the waist. And we're just going to offset it by 1 frame. Hit V, and we're going to push it back up. Now let's see. All right, there we go. And then we'll copy the position of that, and we'll go to the shoulders. Hit P, V, pull it forward 1 frame. Now let's see. All right, that's looking pretty good. I think there's a little bit too much movement in the shoulders. I want it to minimize the distance it travels as it goes up the body. All right, so we'll go like that. And we'll just copy the new position as we go up. Boom. And what I'm doing now is I'm just replacing the old keyframes with the larger movement with the new ones that have a smaller movement. All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then now I'm going to copy the movement of the shoulders here to the head. All right, so we'll move forward 1 more frame, hit P, and then copy. Now we got to reposition our neck. And let's see. All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so then we're going to copy some of these things to the hands now. So I'm going to take the hand controls, hit P, and I did the hips because the hips have a larger movement. I want the hands to have a larger movement too. Okay. There might be too much movement in the hands because the hands are going to kind of minimize quite a bit because they're absorbing a lot of shock. So maybe they'll kind of float in this kind of world here where everything's moving at its almost own pace. Okay, that's not great. So let's try. I want there to be a little jiggle to it. Let's try this. Alright, sure, why not? That's not too bad. So now I'm just going to copy this and duplicate it for 3 seconds. There we go. I'll copy the position of this hand and I will put it in the position of the other hand now. Pull it back. All right. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? Should the hands be moving maybe as quick as the rest of the body? I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see. Maybe. Let's try it again. I'll do both hands like this. And I'll push it back. And then I'll hit C, V, and then I'll push it back. All right, let's see. All right, sure, we'll just do that. The question is it moving properly? Or should we keep pulling it? I don't know. All right, good enough, good enough. Now let's add a little wobble to the head here. So let's grab the hips. I want a little bit of a larger jiggle to it. Let's find the head. There it is. Hit P. And now this one will come after the head, so we'll go right there. And we got to move it way back. There we go. Let's see. Okay. That might be too much. Yeah, I feel like that's too much. I'm just going to leave it. I'll leave it. We'll see what happens. All right. So now I've got this, I've got hair at the back of his head. And since we're kind of going through some wind here, I'm just going to position it right there. And then inside this hair composition, I'm going to add, I got a lot of different hair shapes, so I'm going to Going to pick this one. I'm going to do an adjustment layer so that now I can go distort, and we'll do wave warp. So the wave speed will be relatively fast, maybe like that. And we'll do what do we want? We'll just leave it as is. Change the direction, like so. Then I want to hit play and see how it looks. Okay. All right, so the wind, or the way that the wave is going, it's actually going from bottom to top. So I want to change this direction so that it's going top to bottom. So we'll go 180. So now we have top to bottom. Now let's change our wave width. I want it to be much larger. And we can adjust the height a little bit. Boom. Whoops. So now we've got this cool wave to the hair. Look at that. Question is it too fast? I don't know. Let's make the width higher. That might be too much. All right, let's look at this and see. Okay, it's kind of popping out and breaking there, but we can fix that. Of course we can fix that. We'll just come to where it's doing it, and we'll move it in. Or maybe we can even just rotate it more. Yeah, let's rotate it down and move it down a bit. All right, that's looking pretty good. Good enough, I guess. All right, and since I've got all these cool controls for, like, you know, eyebrows and eye movements, and it's not a great mouth. Definitely not the one that I've used to do a tutorial, but since I've got it, I wanna do a little movement. Because I have all these keyframes of it going up and down, I can either leave it because it adds a little dimension to the head movement, or I could just delete it to keep it simple. I'm going to try it with the keyframes first. So I'm going to have a head movement, maybe right here. So I'll delete these so we can get a smooth move. And then with all these keyframes selected, I'll just push over like this. And we'll have him look behind him. And the way that I want to do it is I'm going to adjust this guy so that it drops his head in between here. So he's like going down to look, and then he comes up. And now he's looking behind him. So in this moment here, I'm going to have him blink. So we'll come here to this control. We'll keyframe that, and then I'll hit U so I can find my keyframe. He'll come forward. He'll blink all the way. And then right here, we'll have him open his eyes. Then I'm going to select these, hit F9, and I'm going to adjust kind of how the blink works a little bit. So I want it to ease into this guy here, and I want it to hold a little bit longer. So I'll pull those out, and then I'll pull this one in. So it looks almost like a heartbeat. Doot. And now it's boom. And so right about here, right before he opens his eyes, I'm going to move them. I'm going to move his pupils to look behind him. So I'll hit P. And then I like to do maybe about 4 keyframes for eye movements. Where should he be looking? Maybe I'll just have him look down. And then I hit F9 on those, and I crunch these all the way in on both sides. So now when we watch it, let's see what that head movement looks like. Not too bad. I think that I can, yeah, let's pull this in. I want the movement to be a little more dramatic. Not be too dramatic. And let's have the eyes start to move a little bit earlier. Okay, and then we'll say like right around here, I want it to go back to where it was. So then the head will come right back to where it was. Boom, just like that. And we'll have it do the same movement down, same movement down. And let's make sure that we're getting the same kind of snap to it. So I'll come here and I'll pull these in. All right, and then we'll have him blink and move his eyes again. So we'll go C, V, and we'll copy those. And these will need a little love because they have been reversed. And let's add a blink right here. So we'll copy this one. And right about here is where I want him to have his eyes opened. Maybe I'll move it forward 1 or 2. Okay, so let's see. Let's get our 3 seconds going. 3 seconds on the clock. I'll move it forward to adjust for the missing keyframes. And let's see how it looks. All right, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go into a composition to show you kind of how it's starting to look. I'm going to move this character around. Then I'm going to show you what I did. Maybe I'll scale him down a little bit. Right here. So now let's go ahead. We'll put 3 seconds on the clock. Hit N, and then I'll move it forward a little bit. All right, so he's surfing, and I've got this whole wave thing happening. And it kind of adds a bit more of like a dramatic, like it makes him feel like he's going faster. Right? So he's got this big wave coming out behind him. I'm going to put one in front of him too. So let me get into the smoke. So if you've seen my tutorial on how I create smoke, you can check it out at YouTube, or you can go to my Patreon page and see the tutorial there. If you become a subscriber to my Patreon page, you can actually download the After Effects file that I use to create this smoke effect. So if you're familiar with what I've got going here, or you actually have the file, all I did was adjust. One, I adjusted where the smoke was to give more of this wave effect, so it kind of like starts really shallow and builds and then tapers off. And I did that for 3 different waves, and I have one big one in the back, which is like the building wave that he's riding. The only other thing that I adjusted is I adjusted the speeds quite a bit. So instead of it being like negative 0.4 for speed, this one's a negative 6. So they're flying. It's just flying by real quick. So that's the only adjustment that I made to the smoke to create this more, wave or water effect. And like I said, you can watch my tutorial on YouTube or go to Patreon, and you will know exactly how to make this. And so that's what I did. And I'm just repurposing it, and it's a way to get creative. Always be creative and always think creatively when you're making stuff. It makes things so much easier, and it makes things go by a lot quicker. So one thing that I can do is I'm going to maybe I'll grab this guy here in the smoke, and let's see what happens if I just drop it in. Okay, so it kind of like splits, which is not really what I want. Yeah, I don't want that. So I'm going to delete this, and in my project I'm going to duplicate the smoke, and I'm going to put it on top. And then inside of smoke 3, all I need is the very front one, which I should rename wave, but sometimes we're just a little too lazy. And I'm going to put this one right in front. And then I'll get into this stuff here. So now that I've got all my wave action happening, I'm going to offset this one a little bit so that it's not like the exact same. All right, cool. So now it looks like he's surfing. He's got some cool stuff happening. Maybe I'll push him back a little more center frame. There we go. So next I created a solid. So I just went up here, I did layer, new, solid. And then I picked the color of his hair just to keep the design style fluid. It's nice to have reoccurring colors in your composition. And then next, I'll just delete this. Next, I created a shape layer just here at the bottom. I don't need a stroke. And then I put it right above my orange solid. The next, what I want to do is I did a gradient fill. And then I adjusted the direction of the gradient to match my wave. So if you don't know how to do that, you simply come up here to your gradient editor, and then you can pick the colors you want. You can even do a eyedropper and pick things like that. And I'm going to cancel that. But that's how you do that. And so it basically gives me, move that up. There we go. So now we've got a wave in front, some waves behind. It makes it look like he's riding this wave a little bit more. So what's something else I can do? Maybe I'll just call it quits at this, you know? He's looking pretty cool. He's got a wave he's riding. Or maybe what I'll do, so I've got Smoke 3, which is the one in front. I've got Smoke, which has the big wave in the back. Maybe I'll duplicate this Smoke again, and I'll duplicate this one, and I'm going to put Smoke 4 right here at Smoke 1. All right, now stick with me. I want waves behind the surfboard, but I don't want the big wave to be there. And then I don't want the little waves in the big wave, so I'll turn those off. So now what I've got is I've got trails of water coming out from behind this guy, but now I can move him around. So maybe I'll adjust his position. And I want him to, you know, maybe rotate a little bit. So I'll hit P and I'll hit R. Maybe I'll have him come up and back a little bit. He's going to be rocking this position. And then maybe I'll have him come back down right around here. And I'll hit CV. Alright, and we'll just we'll zero out his rotation. And then what we'll do is we'll hit F9 on these keyframes, and we're going to add a little snap to it so that it's a little snappy. All right, that's pretty good. It feels a little too robotic though, so maybe I'll move this guy and actually put a new position on it. Maybe down like a triangle. And then he'll come back up. So this guy will kind of move around like a wave. And this one he'll come around. And this one he'll come down and then up. And now for rotations, what I want to do is as he comes up, I want him to rotate down a little bit. And then he goes up into it. And this one, I want him to rotate down and then into it. And this one, he'll go down and then into it. Let's just see if that looks okay. All right, I guess that's looking pretty good. Maybe I'll push these rotations out a bit. I don't know, let's see. All right, that's looking pretty good. Alright, not too bad. So now we got this guy surfing. We have a full loop, and it's not looking too bad. Is there anything else I want to do to it? I don't know. Maybe we could add Dolphin. Or maybe that's going to be too much. One thing you can see though, let me come back in here. You can see on his arm that it breaks through. So I want to adjust that so we're not seeing through his body. Where's his arm? Upper arm. There we go. And I guess I don't need all this. I've got a trim path on there. Actually, I don't think I need the trim path because it's behind the body. But there you go. This is our character surfing. I don't know. Maybe we could make this a political piece. Let's go ahead and we'll put some like bottles in there or something. Is there anything else we can add? Anything else that would be like, well, that's pretty cool? Maybe you could do, earlier I suggested a dolphin. Let's see. Is it too much? Would a dolphin be too much to add? Make it white. And I think I'm going to do some little lighting effects too. So I'll do inner shadow, increase the distance, take the size to 0, change this to white, and then let's do overlay. Is that what I want? And then we'll adjust where it hits. Look at that. That's some good looking lighting right there. Yeah, let's do 100. Alright, and then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to add it to this beginning one. And then I'm going to add it to my surfer. Booyah, dude. I'm going to change the angle on him and maybe even the distance. I think it's a little much. So we'll decrease the distance. There we go. Just a nice little line. Looks good. Should I change the angle? Yeah, I'll just zero it out. All right, that's looking pretty good. But now that I've changed it to kind of like this kind of filthy ocean, maybe I should change the color of the green to more of like a toxic. All right, let's call it quits. I like it. I think it works. Not too shabby. I actually want to see if maybe I can do something cool with the dolphin. So if I'm going to I want to make it look real cool. Oops. Real quickly, we got a lot of shape layers, but it's all right. At the beginning, I'm going to keyframe the path of all my shape layers. The ellipse, I'm going to keyframe the position. I'll just do position, position, shape layer, boom, boom. And I'm going to put a little rotation into the dolphin. We'll see how it looks. This just adds another touch of depth. Okay, so now we got a lot of keyframes here. So if we just go hit U at the top, it'll bring up only the keyframes that we are animating. So if he starts there, and then I want him to kind of rotate here, before he gets fully through his rotation, what I'll do is I'll start to animate this guy first. This will kind of be his little tail. Oops. Which will be in this upward position. And then the white part of his body will come way up, maybe even fill up his nose completely. And the bottom of his tail completely. So if this part of his tail goes up, that means this part of his tail will come down. And then this part of his fin will come up. Oops. Which means that this part of his fin will come down. Then it means that this part of his dorsal fin will come down. And I'll probably have to readjust it. It'll move a little bit. And it means that his mouth will come up. I'm just going to grab all this stuff. This will come up. Move this guy back down. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, so let's just look at it. There we go. That looks really good. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so I've got to put this dorsal fin behind the body. So now that this is looking good, I'm just going to select my keyframes, hit F9, and then I'll collapse it. Whoops. Pull it up again, and I'll collapse all of these. And I'll move the dorsal fin to the back. So now I've got a little rotation in the dolphin, and it looks pretty good. We'll hit U. Maybe I want the rotation to start a little earlier. All right, we'll turn that off. Hit U. So this is where this guy will start. Just hit P. Then we'll duplicate, hit P again, and that's where it'll end. So we can delete this, and now we can watch it. Okay, not too shabby. So is there anything else I want to do to this dolphin? Do I maybe want to add some plastic to it? I don't know. If I do, maybe I'll create like a little thing like this. But would that be obvious? I don't know if that's going to be obvious enough. Oh well. You know what? I'm just going to leave it as is. And we'll call it a wrap. Let's see, maybe we can do another dolphin, but we'll just do it here at the front. Turn the stroke off, just make a solid fill, and we'll go black. We'll hit T, drop it down to like 40. Put it behind the dolphin. You know, I don't need this to be a matte. I don't know why I did that. We'll fill it with this color here. Actually, I think it's solid. We'll fill it with this color here. Come on. There we go. Turn the stroke off. And pull this all the way across. All right, we'll go P. And we'll change the scale. Position scale, boom. Right here. Scale it up. Boom, and we'll scale it down. Too small. Don't want to go too small. And we'll pull that out. Okay. Hit F9. Let's see if that adds anything to it. Alright, not too shabby. Why do I keep saying shabby? I don't... Alright, we'll pull this out and we'll scale it up. Okay, and that just kind of means we need to add a shadow to this guy, which is all right. Fill, solid, black, hit OK. T for transparency, and we'll go 40. And then we will put it behind our male. And just in case he moves around or something, we'll do that. All right, not too bad. I need to scale it down a little bit though, just like so. All right, now let's see how that looks. Okay, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna call it a day. But I also want this. Where is it? Oh yeah. So this is the shadow. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and comment, and I will try to reply to all the comments I can. All right, thanks for watching.